for another Procreate Sketch Sesh for making art every day. Today I'm going to tell you about the theme we have for the month of May we're going to talk about the theme, kind of the thought behind it, give you some tips and tricks and things like that, tell you what's going on this month, and then I'm going to sketch one of the prompts in real time, do a little drawing for you guys. And if you're new around here, this is a part of Making Art Every Day, and this is a drawing challenge that I've been running for the past, 7 years now, I think?
Exactly.
Wow, yeah. And Making Art Every Day is a series of daily drawing prompts, tutorials, and motivation to help you nurture your creative practice. And every month we pick a theme, and we have a whole month of prompts within that theme, and we have tutorials and things to go with the theme, and it's a lot of fun, and it's a really great way to kind of get your creative juices flowing, try drawing stuff maybe you might not have thought to draw, and I'm very excited about this month. So let me go ahead and get into it and tell you about it. So this month's theme is portrait play. And this is a fun little twist on drawing people. We've done people in the past for Making Art Every Day, but we've always focused on like the whole body, like face, body, limbs, the whole thing. And so for this month, I really just wanted to focus on like head and shoulder portraits and not have to worry about the whole body, because I think there's like so much that you can do with just this much, and so much to explore, and fun accessories and hairstyles and things like that without kind of getting bogged down about worrying how to draw a whole body. So that's what this whole month is about. And the prompts are kind of meant to be sort of like building blocks to help you brainstorm interesting ways to draw head and shoulder portraits. So I'll tell you more about that once we jump into the drawing journal. But yeah, I think you guys are really gonna like this month. So if you really wanted to learn, learn and practice drawing portraits, people, things like that, you're really going to enjoy this month. So without further ado, let's jump down to my iPad and I'll show you this month's drawing journal, and we'll talk about the prompts and everything that's going on in May. All right, so here I have the drawing journal, and let me just show you where you can get this. We've got a link to it down in the YouTube description, but we'll put a link in the chat as well.
Already there.
And let me just go into Safari, because I'm going to take you guys to makingarteveryday.com first. And this is kind of the home base for all things Making Art Every Day. You can download the journal right there. So that's another way that you can get it. And then we have all the prompts, but I'll show you that within the drawing journal as well. And the cool thing about the prompts here on Making Art Every Day is they link to related reference photos. So I'll show you that when we get to the drawing portion. We've got a link to the sketch sesh, related tutorials to what we're doing this month, tutorials in Art Makers Club, but I'll come back to that. I just wanted to show you, you can get the drawing journal there. Okay, so here I am in Procreate. The drawing journal is a Procreate file. I'm going to go ahead and open it up. And first of all, we have our cover page. The month is May. The theme is portrait play. Let me go to the next page. So the next page just gives you kind of an overview of what this whole month is about and some tips and tricks for how to approach it. So like I said, we're doing head and shoulder portraits. No need to draw full bodies or complex poses, just the fun, expressive details that bring a character to life. And then each of the day's prompts kind of guides you through drawing a part of a portrait at a time. So sometimes you'll focus on a single feature or accessory. Other times you'll explore clothing or, full mini portraits. And then down here, we've kind of got some tips for how to approach each week. So maybe I'll come back to that. I'll show you guys the prompts, and then we'll talk about kind of some tips to approach each week. So the next page is what's coming up in May, and I actually have a really, really fun tutorial coming up in Art Makers Club this month on May 7th, so next week. We are going to be doing a tutorial I call Faces on the Fly, Quirky, No Plan Portraits. And I'm very excited about this because I feel like drawing faces can be really intimidating, and it's hard to figure out how you want to draw it, what you want to draw, what you want the details to be, and things like that. And this tutorial is meant to kind of circumvent all of that. So we're learning how to draw faces without a plan. So we'll draw 4 portraits at a time. We'll draw 4 different head shapes. We'll draw 4 different eye shapes. We'll, and we'll kind of go through each part of it at a time. And what's cool about this process is it's very intuitive. So once you lay down, a head shape with a skin tone, maybe you're like, oh, this eye shape will go good with that. Or this lip color might go good with her skin tone or his skin tone, however you want to draw. And then you're like, oh, what if we try this hairstyle? So it's like very creative, and you get to have a lot of fun with it and lean into your artistic intuition, which I think is super important for artists. So if you want to join that tutorial, if you're already in Art Makers Club, just join us on May 7th. If you're not, you can go to artmakersclub.com and sign up for a subscription. Being an Art Makers Club is so much fun. We do so much fun stuff every month. Not only do we do stuff that kind of ties into making art every day, but we also have a monthly creative practice focus every month. And we have like conversations going on to kind of share tips about our creative practice and things like that, share our work. And it's just a lot of fun. So, and we have like some really, really amazing people here. I'm sure there's a bunch of you Art Makers Club members watching right now. So thanks for being here. Okay, let me go to the next page.
And just real quick,
yeah.
It was kind of cool. Adrian was just asking, can you draw me, please?
Well, what I think is cool about this month is you can learn to draw yourself as well. Like doing a self-portrait is a really fun approach for this month in particular. So let me talk a little bit about the prompts page. So this is our prompts page, and I'll go through each week at a time. So our first week is a short week. We have the first 4 days, and for that month, we're focusing on face basics. So this is where you can just practice drawing facial features. And I think a really fun way to approach this week in particular is to try drawing like lots of different kinds of eyes and brows, like play around with, how you might stylize eyes, draw like a bunch of different like types of eyes. Same thing with noses, lips, and mouth and ears. Just like experiment and see kind of what stylistically, what style of eyes and other facial features that you might want to use in your portraits going forward. So it's a really good time to experiment with that sort of thing. And then the next week we are doing portrait accessories. So these are fun little details that you can add to a portrait to give it more personality. So things like earrings, eyeglasses, necklace. I have sun hat here, but feel free to draw as many different kinds of hats as you want. A bow tie, flower crown, a brooch. And you could honestly go on and on with like experimenting with different fun accessories. So for this one, you're just drawing, the accessories. Don't worry about putting them on a person or anything like that. They can just be like standalone. But yeah, keep going with it if you want. If you were around when we did our doodle month back in March, I feel like this kind of like when we did the weeks where we're like draw as many different kinds of this thing, I think it might be a cool way to approach, this week too. Just like how many different earrings can you draw? So that way you have lots of ideas to choose from when you want to do your portraits later. Okay, and then the next week is here we go. So this month's about hairstyles, and I think a good way to approach this month is to just draw the hairstyle. Like you can draw the shape of the face, but don't worry about like doing the whole facial features or anything like that. Just play around and experiment with drawing the hairstyles only, so it doesn't get too overwhelming. But we have messy bun, we've got braids, pixie cut, big and curly hair, a pompadour, wind blown, which I think would just be fun. It could be any kind of hair, but like blowing in the wind. And then we have a prompt where you can draw your own hair, because I think it would be really cool for everybody to experiment with drawing their own hair as well. All right, and then we're going to move on to, what your person might be wearing. And when we do head and shoulder portraits, we're not doing the whole body, like I said. It's just kind of like the top part. But for this week, I think it would be cool to do like drawing the clothes as if it's like a flat lay. So like pattern shirt, and you just draw the shirt as it's like lying down, like flat. Not worrying about drawing it on a body or anything like that. Just the shirt or the scarf. So we have pattern shirt, silk scarf. Oh, look, I made a typo. Well, sorry about that. I'll have to fix it. Graphic tee, denim jacket, collared shirt, cozy sweater, and sports jersey. So and again, you could keep going. You could swap these out with other types of clothing you might want to draw, but like getting ideas for fun, like clothing that you could put on your portrait that you're drawing. And then finally, we're gonna bring it all together and do some actual full head and shoulder portraits. And this week I call portrait personas, and I've just given you kind of some jumping off points for personality types, I guess, of portraits that you can draw. So we have a bookworm, rock star, grandpa, fashionista, beach bum, and vintage lover. So you can interpret those prompts however you want, but for this one, we're going to put it all together, do a head and shoulder portrait, hair, accessories, all that fun stuff to kind of go with these little persona prompts. So those are all the prompts for Making Art Every Day for the month of May. I hope you're excited about them. I think it's going to be a lot of fun. What I recommend doing in the journal on this page is marking it up. If you're doing every single prompt, that's awesome. But if you know you only have time to do some of the prompts, maybe you can focus on like a couple from the face basics, and then like go through and like highlight which prompts you want to focus on. If you have a limited amount of time and you just want to do a couple a week or something like that, you can go through and mark this page up. There's a layer here in the Procreate document where you can tap on that and you can mark it up, kind of like this one. I have an example. So taking some notes for yourself.
Oh, that Shauna was saying, I think I'll draw one character and use that as a base for every day to put the accessories and clothes on.
Oh, that's a good idea. Yeah, if you wanted to do that, drawing like a base character and then just experiment with changing out the different features of that. That could be a fun way to approach it as well. Like I said, there's no rules here, just suggestions, but you can do it however you want to. The next page, I have just like a place for you to doodle some ideas. So if as you're going through and looking through the prompts, something pops into your head, you can just jot down some ideas here really quick. You can write more notes, you can draw little sketches and things like that. So you can kind of use that page that way. And then finally, we have the progress tracker. And so we've got each of the 5 weeks of the month here. We have May 1st through the 4th, face basics. And you can write a little mini goal. Like I want to draw, I think a good goal for those, like I want to draw, 15 different kinds of eyes, like sketching them out, or I want to try and draw 20, or however many you want to draw. Like that could be a good goal for that month. And then you could, set up whatever goals you want for the rest of the month. Just kind of helps you kind of stay accountable. And then you can paste in your artwork as you complete it. So in the end, you'll have like a really good overview of what you created this month. And I have an example here in the layers. If you go to the Procreate layers, that would look something like this. So you can, write your goal, check it off when you do it, paste in the artwork that you complete that month, and you have this really nice kind of visual of your progress, which is cool. So that is the drawing journal. And let me go back to the website really quick. So again, this is makingarteveryday.com. We have all the prompts link to related reference photos through like a Google image search. So if I tapped on eyes and brows, that would take me over to a bunch of pictures of eyes and brows. So you can kind of use those as references as you draw the prompts, which is really cool. Go back. Down here we have tutorials to try this month, and I wanted to point out a few for you guys. The top section here is all these tutorials are available on bartobrush.com or YouTube. And one of the ones a couple I wanted to talk about were the People Skills series. So I have it up right here. You can find this at bartobrush.com/people, or you can click the links in there. But this is a series that I created a few years ago about how to draw people. And it's really in depth. If you've never checked out People Skills and you want to learn how to draw people, I highly recommend checking it out. But each lesson takes you through a different kind of facial feature. So we do all the facial features, we do facial proportions, we do hair, we do emotions, we do fingers, hands, arms, toes, legs, and then we put it all together and we do poses in different, standing, sitting, walking, running, that sort of thing. And if you go into one of the lessons here, so this is the eyes lesson. You can watch the video right there. And then these are some of the things that we talk about in the video. You know, what's the minimal depiction? So what's like the least amount of information that you can, you know, draw to communicate an eye. We've got a photo reference, the basic elements of an eye. You know, it's an oblong shape. It's got a pupil, iris. There's usually reflection, things like that that you can include in your drawings, and then like homework. And the homework is kind of what the prompts are. So, and then we also have Pinterest board of, you know, inspiration for that. And each lesson is like that. So you can check that out. It's all free and available for you to check it out. In Art Makers Club, I have the whole People Skills series, but it's got even more. There's more stuff to it and more visuals and more things to help you learn. So if you're in Art Makers Club, I would check out the People Skills there. Yeah, so that's People Skills. And then another thing we have is a few videos from the Character Camp series, which is another series I did this, I think that was 2020, wasn't it, Jeff? That we did Character Camp.
Yes.
Yeah, we did a whole month on drawing characters. And so we have videos about drawing clothing, accessories, hair, face, body shape, and then like putting it all together. So this part in particular is really relevant for this month if you want to check that out as well. They were all like live videos. It was a lot of fun. We did animal characters and inanimate objects as characters. We how to age a character. It was a lot of fun that month. That was a really fun month. So there's some more videos for you to check out. And then a couple things here down at the bottom. These are all resources that you can find in Art Makers Club. So if you're an Art Makers Club members, we have like premium courses. We have like a whole bunch of tutorials. And you can find them all down here. But one thing I wanted to mention is the Kickstart Your Creativity Volume 2 course that I released end of last year, beginning of this year. There is some really helpful videos in there that will help you out. So this is kind of what it looks like when you're a member and you're inside. But week 6, here we did clothing, and we did some things that might help you, like hat, t-shirt, jacket, and those are all prompts from, you know, those are related to the prompts. And so you can check those lessons out if you want to draw those things. And then we had a week on people, and we drew an eye, we drew hair, we drew a whole face, like a self-portrait kind of character, and a character as well. So there's some really good lessons in Kickstart Volume 2 if you want even more lessons and things to help you out. We also have like a tutorial on drawing clothes, storybook characters, you know, characters in costumes, animated faces. So there's a lot of good stuff there as well. So lots of good resources to help you out for this month. Okay, I think that's everything for reviewing what's going on for the month of May. And now I'm going to jump into the drawing portion. And I was trying to decide what I wanted to do here. And I think I want to focus on the Portrait Accessories Week. And I don't know, I think I want to do the eyeglasses. Mostly because like glasses, I feel like they've always been really challenging for me, like getting the, you know, the two sides of the glasses to be the same and things like that. So I think I'm going to do that. And I want to kind of draw like a whole bunch of eyeglasses, so different styles and things like that. So that's what I'm going to do. So let me go ahead and get out of this, and I'm going to create a new Procreate document. And I am going to just use my standard size I like to use, which is 3800 by 2800 pixels. And then I want to get my Safari on the side so I can get my reference photos up. So I like to just pull up the dock, grab Safari, put it over here, and then resize it this way. And if you pull up makingarteveryday.com, it's nice and easy to have everything, all those resources here on the side. And then I can tap on eyeglasses, and that should take me to my Google search, and I can start kind of sketching out different kinds of eyeglasses. So I think I'm going to do like these round ones first, and let me see here. I might just use, I might go into like my basic toolkit and choose like this inker brush. it's pretty simple. So I want to kind of focus on just doing really simple little kind of sketches of these different glasses. So, you know, there is, if I wanted, okay, so there's a couple ways that I can approach this. I can just try and draw like circles that are the same size that way. Which is coming out not too bad. And I don't know if I want the glasses to kind of go backwards like that, or I don't want them to like crisscross. I'm imagining these are going to go on like a face or something, so I'm not going to draw. I don't know if I want to draw the whole, that part of it, but maybe I will. And then these are pretty simple. Actually, I'm going to add these little, I'm looking at the reference photo and the like edges of the frame kind of stick out like that. So I could always do it like that. So that's one way that I could do glasses, is like kind of freehanding it. But another way I could do it is with the symmetry mode if I really want to like make sure it's symmetrical. I'll show you that really quick. I'm not sure what I want to do, but I'll show it to you. Let's go to the actions menu, canvas, and turn on drawing guide here. And then I'm going to go to edit drawing guide, and I'm going to choose symmetry here. And now whatever I draw is going to be mirrored on the other side of this line. And you can actually move this line. So if I wanted to draw a bunch of glasses like here, I can move the line to right there just by grabbing that little blue node. And now if I wanted to try drawing like these, it's a little bit easier. So they kind of go down like that. Or maybe it'd be easier to draw the like frame first, like the wire part, but I don't know. It's an experiment. They don't look exactly like the picture, but I kind of like the way that they look. So this is a little bit easier if you want to just kind of get a bunch of styles down without making sure everything is super symmetrical. Let's see. They also have these little like nose pieces. And then I'm going to get like a silver maybe and draw this little metal part. So there's another kind of glasses. Let me see what else. I'll do these like this shape here because I really wanted some colorful glasses. I actually became a glasses wearer. This past year. I like not wear them all the time, but like, you know, I'm getting older now. I'm like 40 now. So I have glasses now that I have to wear. My eyes get tired, especially because I'm like on screens all the time for the work that I do, you know, being a digital artist and running a business. So my eyes get tired. So I'm just kind of looking at the photo and kind of seeing where the curves are. Kind of curve in, oops, curve in there. And the cool thing about the symmetry mode is you can use it with the liquify tool. So if I go to the actions menu and go to liquify here, and I'm here in the push setting, I can actually push these out a little bit, and it will, you can see it's, you know, reflected on both sides. So if I want to kind of experiment and maybe get them to look a little bit closer to the photo, I can kind of push things around like that. It looks pretty good. All right, let's do these red ones here. I'll go to red, and I'm just using this one brush. I'm just kind of, like I said, this is sort of just exploring. Okay, so these ones there, and then they kind of go up a little bit. There we go. And then they What I think is so fun about doing what I'm doing now is like when I go to draw portraits, especially when I'm gonna do like the faces on the fly where I'm just kind of like making things up as I go. I'll have like a memory bank in my head of like different styles of glasses that I could try. And so I can kind of like intuitively respond to, you know, what's already on my page, like, oh, maybe this person would look good with this kind of glasses or something like that. So I'll have like a lot of ideas in my head. So I filled up this kind of column. So if I wanted to keep going over on this side, I could actually move that line over there, which is pretty cool. So I'm going to go up to the actions menu, go to edit drawing guide again, and then just move it over. I don't think I can fit 3 rows here, but I'll just put it there for now. I can always add more space with the crop feature. Okay, let's see what other kinds of glasses I could try. They're a little bit different than what I've done. You can always change up the search here. So it's, right now it's eyeglasses, but if I wanted to do like colorful eyeglasses or vintage eyeglasses or fun, maybe I'll do like fun eyeglasses and see what comes up. Oh, some really crazy ones. It might not be what I want. I'm gonna try like colorful eyeglasses. Ooh, there we got some really cool ones. You know me, I love my color. Oh, these are really cool. I'm gonna try and do something like that. That's like kind of colorful. So I'm gonna start with just the shape in one color, and then I'll add all the rainbow with like alpha lock, I think. Okay, so we've got the kind of bridge part, and there we got the frames. It's pretty good, I think. Kind of curve this side out a little bit. And make this part a little wider. And just kind of smooth all those corners out just a little bit. Another cool liquify thing that you can do, if I go back to liquify, is if you go to where it says push and change it to pinch, you can actually, if you wanted parts of it to be more narrow, you can kind of run your brush. Can you see that getting thinner? And now it's like, here, I'll go, there you go, to the extreme. You can see how it like thins it out. So you can kind of run your brush along it, and then it will like thin out parts of your illustration, which is pretty cool if you like drew it a little too thick. Okay, so I'm gonna turn on alpha lock with like a 2-finger swipe to the right. And now I'm gonna start incorporating some of these other colors. Maybe I'll try the simple shader brush from the basic toolkit. We'll see if it's not too textured. All right, I'm gonna get some, ooh, that's pretty. Some orange. Okay, actually, I don't love that it's, mirroring. So instead of what I just did with alpha lock, I'm actually going to create a new layer and tap it and choose clipping mask. And you can see that this layer says assisted. If I do anything on this layer, it's going to be mirrored. But if I do anything on this layer, it doesn't say assisted, so nothing is going to be mirrored. So I'm just going to use that to add in these colors. So there's a little orange. Let's get some yellow. Maybe I'll leave some of the pink in there. I like it. Maybe a little bit of green. Get some blue. I'll go a little smaller with my brush. And then there's kind of like a darker blue as well I see in there. So I'm going to add that in. And then sort of a pinky purple color. Those are fun. And I'm going to create a new layer and I'm going to add a little bit of, I don't know, shiny marks. So I'll go back to that. Actually, let me try this grainy liner brush from Basic Toolkit and see how that looks for, well, it's a little too textured for like some highlights. So I'm going to I'll try the inker brush. Just kind of add a little bit of highlights. And then these little kind of, the little, what are those called? The little, I don't know, screws or nails or whatever that, you know, attach the side pieces to the front. I don't know my glasses anatomy here, technical term. The frames to the ear parts. There we go. That's fun. Okay, let me go back to my original one and I'll try to fill this page up with some different glasses. So maybe some like fun thick frames would be good. Or you know what, let me go and search like vintage eyeglasses. Maybe we'll get some like cat eye, or I guess I could just search cat eye glasses. I'm going to do a shape like this, but in like a different color. Maybe I'll do some like teal kind of color. Okay, so I've got my inker brush. I'm back to the layer that, you know, the original layer with all the glasses. And I'm going to draw this one. I'm going to try and start with the opening of the frame and then like add all the cat eye part around it. Okay, so trying to get the opening of the frame right. And then kind of just make this bigger. And then the bridge, be a little higher. Ooh, those are fun. I'm going to use my liquify and kind of round this part, or actually maybe move it out that way a little bit. Those are cute. I like those. Okay, let me do another one. I'm going to do these round ones. I know I did a round one already, but I like the tortoise shell color. So I'm going to pick the lightest shade I see in the tortoise shell, and then I'll kind of add the tortoise shell coloring to it. See if I can do that. So we're going to go around. I could always use quick shape. So just draw a circle and then keep my pencil down like that. I haven't lifted my pencil up, and then if I put another finger down, it's gonna snap to a perfect circle, but I'm gonna make it bigger actually. I'll start over here. There we go. Maybe about like that. And then the bridge is kind of low for these, so I'll draw it down there. A little bit bigger. Okay. And then this little side part, draw that as well. Oop. My Apple Pencil decided not to work. Don't you love it when that happens? Okay, let's quit Procreate and try again. Okay, back to working. Okay, continuing. All right, so I'll just add a little curve right there. And then see about doing this as a tortoise shell. I'll use the same clipping mask again to add the different colors. So I'm going to get sort of a kind of an orangier color. I'll do the simple shader and just kind of, I don't know, see. I'm just going to like add some blotches like this. just kind of different shapes of them. Okay, and then I'm gonna get like a darker brown color and add some more blotches of that color, and then I'll do like the last color, which is gonna be like the darkest brown. Oh, that's looking pretty good. Okay, so then I'm gonna get like a really dark brown. We go this way. Oh, that's probably a little too dark. Maybe we'll go a little smaller. Okay, yeah, I think that looks pretty good. Got sort of like a tortoise shell kind of pattern. Add a little bit of dark darks. So just kind of like layer on some blotches. And then maybe add some highlights. I'm not going for like super realistic, just sort of like a stylized version of what I see. So just like a few highlights here and there. Ooh, I like those. Those are really fun. Okay, maybe we'll do some highlights here too. And then you could keep going. That's probably all I'll do for today. But you could keep going and just like keep filling a page with these. If you wanted to add more space, like I was saying, I could like add more space. You could always go up to the crop and resize. So go actions, crop and resize, and then like add more space over there, and then move the line over to there. And you could like keep going and keep brainstorming glasses. But I think I'm going to leave it there for today. But yeah, this is kind of like how I imagine approaching a lot of the prompts from, you know, Portrait Accessories Week, even Face Basics, is just like trying to draw as many different kinds as you can to kind of like fill up your, you know, memory bank in your head with different ideas. So that way when you go to draw faces, you have lots of ideas to choose from. And you can even think ahead to like what kind of accessories might these different personas wear, and try and do versions of the, you know, what eyeglasses might the vintage lover wear, maybe try to do a version of that. What necklace could the, I don't know, the fashionista wear, or what would the bookworm be wearing, and kind of like try and approach some of those within these prompts. So cool. Well, I hope you guys are super excited about Portrait Play Month. I'm so excited to see your, I'm so excited to see what you create, all of your different brainstorms, all the different accessories, and then of course your portraits. And I hope you'll join me for the live tutorial in Art Makers Club this month, because I really think you're gonna like it. We're gonna learn all about just, you know, how to kind of put everything together, and it's gonna be a lot of fun. So thank you guys so much for joining me today for this sketch sesh. I hope you have a wonderful month of art making and you create a lot of really cool portraits. I can't wait to see them. So thanks again for joining me, and happy art making. I'll see you guys soon. Bye-bye.